Hello, 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 everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Nick, and welcome to my humble little podcast. So, what is this? What's going on? What did you stumble into, you might be wondering? So, I am deciding to do a podcast, obviously. But what could I possibly bring to the table? I don't know nothing. I'm not handy. But I have worked at a pet store for the past decade. 5 of those as a dog trainer, 1 of those as a dog groomer. And during these uncertain times, oh my God, aren't you glad, by the way, tangent, that we are so done with all those commercials? In these uncertain times, we all have to band together. And because of that, you should buy shoes because we sell shoes and somehow that's an essential business. But you can't come into the store to try them on and do all those moves like in that Ellen joke. And oh my God, those were just so annoying. Those are almost as annoying as when you suddenly started seeing all of these commercials that had to have a couple that was either same sex or biracial, which is great. They need to be represented. But didn't you just feel a little pandered to? Like, do you genuinely want to be showing these people? Or are you just hyped to the new trends and you don't want to be left in the bandwagon because you had, God forbid, a white guy and a white girl on your commercial? I know that that comes across as wrong, but it's literally just, do you really feel that way? Like with Black Lives Matter was going on and everybody was changing their logo to black. Do you really care about Black lives, or are you just trying to make sure that nobody calls you out for not doing that? I just want sincerity, is all I'm saying. Anyway, back to where I'm coming from. So, yes, it's as of this recording, February 18th, 2021. We have a pandemic, as you're probably all well aware, and I see people coming into my store getting what I call pandemic pets. And a lot of times it's been leading to disastrous results. So I decided, you know what? I can just do a podcast where I'm going to go ahead and just try and prevent both hardship in the pets' lives and also hardship in the family, because neither should have to go through that just from a lack of info. So that's what I'm going to start doing. My initial intention, I'm not going to edit any of this. It's going to be the lowest production value. When I say humble podcast, it is going to be humble. I'm talking, this is on a 10-year-old laptop. Who knows how old the camera is. I have to put this on 25 frames per second just so that I don't digitize when I move my head around too much. It's bad, all right? It's not going to be great. It's going to start off pretty terrible. But the point is, it's going to start, all right? If you have an idea, or if you just feel like your life is in Groundhog Day rut of just same thing, oh, I should do that, I should do that, I should stop start it and be comfortable and embrace the awkwardness. It's going to be gritty, it's going to be bad, it's going to be raw, it's going to be embarrassing. You're going to look back, not even like a week from when you first start, and go, oh, God, that was bad. Thank God I got better. It's going to happen organically, kind of like this podcast. So I digress. I'm going to start, and this is very ambitious, but I want to do 3 videos a week. Who knows if I'm going to be able to keep that up, but I'm going to start with that. And first video is going to be like this one. It's just going to be, hey, how are you? I'm Nick. Pleased to meet you. How you been? This is how I've been. And this is what I'm going on in my life, or this is what I got to rant about. This is going to be the free association podcast part of it, where friends, family, and even just general fans in general are going to be able to keep up with what's been going on in my life. And I can get a little silly, not worry too much about what I'm actually saying and how I'm saying it. I'm debating on keeping it toned down as far as the actual animal videos go, because, all right, so I'm going to do this one. I'm all over the place. I'm going to do this one. I'm going to do a intro to pets one. So the very first video is literally just going to be a general all around. So you're thinking about getting a pet. Here's what you should know before even going into the store. And then each week I'll break down a different pet. Probably start with hamsters and fish, because I like to try and give their kid as a starter pet. And it's usually a lot more than they originally thought it was going to be. I'll get more into that in that one. And then the third video of the week is going to be solely about dogs. Dogs are going to have their own specific category. Like I said, I was a trainer, I was a groomer, I was a foster parent. I have a beautiful 4-legged one that's running around right now, probably making clicky marks in the audio because I need to grind her nails down again. Her quicks grow so quick. That's actually going to be an entire video by itself. Oh, and I'm ringing. Nope, that was just a text, but I really should have had this muted. Blah blah blah. Like I said, we're just not doing any editing. Keeping it all in, keeping all this in. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna do literally an episode by itself on just nail trims for dogs. That's how much I can get into it with dogs. That one I don't know. I don't know when and if I'm gonna run out of episodes. I might eventually run out of pets that you can find at a pet store, and then I might have to start doing something else for those for the second video each week. But for right now, there's a lot of categories. Each one has its own special thing. Thank you, Lilu. Now she decides to play with her toy. So again, I don't know if you're even getting any of this on audio, or if I'm just making comments on noises that you're not even hearing. But we'll see. Here we go. So intro to me, intro to pets, intro to dogs. And then each week from there on, I'll pick a certain topic about dogs and pick a certain animal and eventually have guests on. I actually already have a couple of people that volunteered to be a guest, which is very sweet. One of them is probably going to be able to watch the intro to pets or intro to whatever video and have a lot more to say on the subject. Again, this isn't research. I'm not Googling any of this. This is literally just me trying to pass on to you what I've learned through osmosis over 10 years of dealing with pet parents and their little cuddle buddies. So, yeah. Anyway, that's the idea, and I'm just doing it. I'm just starting it again. If you need to get motivated, there's nothing that you can do besides just start getting some momentum. That's literally the only thing you can do. Just like if you want to be a stand-up, you can't be a stand-up unless you actually do stand-up. There's just no way that you can just be funny right then and there. You just got to start flexing those. It's like that Shia LaBeouf video. Just do it. All right. So hopefully this will be an inspiration to some. Even if 3 people watch this, and one person maybe thinks twice before they get a pet. Another one does get the pet and they don't happen to kill it because they actually saw something on here, or they get inspired to make their own better video. You know what? Challenge. Go ahead. Do a better intro to pets video podcast than me. Blow up, and I'll be nothing but happy for you. And I mean that sincerely. Like, if I see people doing well, it inspires me instead of makes me bitter about their success over my success. Well, were you trying? Were you doing? No. So then you have nothing to bitch about. Did you do it? And I am going to, again, try and keep down on the cussing. I don't know that it's going to matter at first, and I have a pretty foul mouth, but I know that eventually, if you do a podcast that's successful, you get ad reads, you get Patreon, you get a YouTube algorithm that kicks you off if it notices, swearing in the first 10 minutes, I think is what it is. I'm gonna try and use the B word, the F word instead of saying the actual ones. But if a couple slip out in the beginning, it's gonna happen. I do apologize. I should do like a spoilers 18 plus only for this one. And again, I don't know if I'm going to softball it with the animal videos, because honestly, at least where I live and where I work, you have to be 18 in order to buy a pet. So you're either 18 and you can hear that language and you're going to be fine, or there with a kid that's going to be under 18. So it really should be the parent watching this video instead of the kid. I do know that, however, some of them might want to show their kid the video so they can say, see all this effort? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to do a month of chores just to get the idea of what a responsibility it is of having one of these pets? But I digress. As we go, it's not going to be years of planning and then putting out a crystal perfect, crystal clear, pitch perfect, great video, great sound podcast at first, because then it would never get done. All right, I would be able to just do the tomorrow thing, and that one was a little choppy. Oh, that one I said or all that stuff. Just do it. That's what I'm trying to do here. Is I'm just getting myself hyped up. All right. Oh, so that's going to be a thing. If I have this talking too long, I'm going to have to keep on refreshing that. All right. I can go into settings later on. Forget it. We're leaving it in. We're leaving it all in, guys. Who am I talking to? Nobody. She's not editing this. She's not even listening. She's looking at me weirdly while she's chewing on an antler, but that's about it. Yeah, I'm talking about Lilu, my dog, not some weird person in the house that likes to chew on antlers. But oh god, that'd be horrible for your teeth. Oh my goodness. All right, see. Sometimes I get those weird little heebie-jeebies. I just thought about crunching down on an antler, and for some reason, anything to do with teeth, it just makes my skin crawl. Anything with teeth, with like fingernails, you know that scene in the movie where they're ripping the fingernails out. Ugh, god, that one just gets me all the time. Anyway. Oh, I'm going to go off on a lot of tangents. Buckle up, buckle up. We're going to make in lefts and rights. Oh yeah, no, nobody's going to know where this podcast is going. Not even me. Not even in the first video. So, yeah, I'm trying to take a page out of Joe Rogan's book. So, I'm planning on switching jobs soon. I also do some DoorDash on the side, and I wanted to start a podcast because he does his comedy, he does his podcast, and he still does UFC commentating because you literally don't know what life's going to throw at you. One might fall, the other might rise. You don't know. So you should have a lot of different pots boiling at once. So this is going to be my new pot boiling, and it's going to bubble over. Especially the first couple episodes, that pot is going to be bubbling over. I'm going to make the stove a mess. I'm going to have to clean it up. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I hope that you learn a little something. If not, I hope that I get a chuckle out of you, even if it's at my expense. That's fine. You can laugh at me. I laugh at me. You have to laugh. You have to laugh at yourself, especially when things get crazy. Otherwise, you'll just go insane. You'll just go insane. So, oh yeah, I'm talking a mile a minute, and then I'm taking too pregnant of a pauses in between. I can already see I'm editing my next podcast in my head as I go along because of how awful this is. I'm sure I'm going to have segments at some points. I'm going to have catchphrases. Hell, I don't even have a title to this thing yet. Maybe this, at least for the episode, maybe it'll be intro to Nick. But I mean, I don't have a channel idea yet. I don't have anything. I just have the drive and the will to put my stammering butt out there in the world in the hopes that I can help people and maybe even myself eventually if it gets to a point where I'm doing a Patreon for this thing. Who knows? But so I don't know if I'll have segments. One segment I do want to do, and I'm kind of excited about this one, is that each week I will probably keep it off of the advice one. So like I said, if you don't care about me and you just want to get straight to the content, click on the other video. This is people that are interested in the process, watching me just work all of this out in my head, stammer, sweat, be all nervous on camera. I mean, anyway, one of the segments that I would like to include is I know a lot of people, friends, family, local business, that are trying to do their own thing on the side as well. Because unfortunately, you can't just cut it with one job, or you don't want to. You have a hobby that you want to keep on doing because it makes you happy and something that you can sell on the side. So each week, I am going to not be sponsored by somebody new. So today's episode is not brought to you by Cape Cord Paracord and Sand Dune Customs. So I got one of my best friends in the world, Josh Ledger. He's a maniac. He's doing it all. He's got a job. He's got a family life, and he's also hustling on the side with two companies now. So Cape Cord Paracord. They do awesome stuff made out of paracord. Pretty self-explanatory. And it's Sand Dune Customs is the newest one. So he does tumblers, but most especially masks. It was pretty cool. He just live streamed him making, I think it was 100 masks that he ended up doing. So you get to see the process. You get to see the, his little studio that he has, multicam setup, little microphone in there. It puts this to shame. I mean, he has such a high production value already with his first live stream. I'm super proud of him, super happy for him. So if you're interested in mask tumblers, paracord stuff, and more, check him out. He's on Facebook /CAPECORD. That's Cape Cord, kind of like Cape Cod and paracord combined. Pretty self-explanatory. So that's facebook.com / Charlie Alpha Papa Echo Charlie Oscar Romeo Delta. If you can't find it after all of that, then honestly you probably shouldn't be playing around with tumblers and paracords. You're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna choke on that mask somehow. Hey, sweetie. See, now she's been ignoring me all day, and now that I'm trying to do something here, now she's gonna be putting her head in my lap and trying to distract Daddy. But yeah, so that's the long and the short of it. I hope that you guys, like I said, learn a little something, or if at the very least you get, say screw this guy, that's the last video I'm going to see. But hey, for somebody, you know, and I think that's important. Like you see all these podcasters, or at least maybe you don't. I do. I podcast like crazy. Um, to work, from work, at work. I mean, it's bad. But I love seeing all of them kind of support each other. They have their own podcast, but they have each other on as guests for their own podcasts. It's very masturbatory, but it is also really good for the game. They help make people realize, oh man, I've been such a huge fan of, say, Whiskey Ginger, and then he has on, his buddy Eric Griffin, and then Eric Griffin, that was a really funny guest. Who's he? Eric Griffin, Riffin with Griffin. He has a podcast. You check that out, and then boom, now they're making money too. It's just smart, and it just makes a lot of sense. Why wouldn't you go help each other out? Why wouldn't you help out your buddy that's trying to do his own thing on the side? Why wouldn't you try and um, just help lift each other up? Help pull each other up from their bootstraps. Which, by the way, I might even go into a whole video about how people get sayings wrong. Lifting yourself up by your bootstraps is one example that is a physically impossible thing to do. If you picture it, literally lifting yourself up by your own bootstraps, you're going to stay on the ground. It's supposed to mean trying to do something impossible. It's not supposed to be a motivating phrase like it's been turned into. I don't know why, but I find stuff like that interesting. That's a little free nugget of trivia for you right there. But yeah, I might even do an entire episode on that because I just find where some of the phrases come from fascinating. Um, like pull the wool over the eyes. It's when they used to wear the wigs, and one of the goofs was to pull the wig over their eyes. Things like that. It's just like, and the fact that they still permeate through culture when the complete meaning of them is lost. Oh, and phrases. Okay, yeah, no, I definitely got to do a video on that one. Phrases that we only know the first half of, and so it is the complete opposite message. So, for instance, um, curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought him back. That's the second half of it. So it's now used as a warning. Curiosity killed the cat. Okay, well, no, the original phrase was supposed to be like, okay, but satisfaction brought him back. Okay, you should be curious. You should question things. You should explore, and it's just so weird that a lot of, and there's a lot of them, and again I can get into it with a whole episode, but there's a lot of them where the meaning is completely opposite now because they cut off the last half, and it almost seems to be by design. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I think 1 out of 10 of them have a little bit of truth to it, right? What's going on with Britney Spears? I don't know anything about that. I don't even know why I mentioned that. Cut it out. Nope, it's all staying in. It's all staying in. We're not editing any of this out. So yeah, hopefully the next couple will go a little smoother. I won't be trying to talk way too fast or pause way too pregnantly. And that's the thing, right? Pregnant pauses. It just sounded weird the way I said it. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to have a little bit more energy. Every time I record these, it feels like I'm popping, I'm buzzing, I have a lot of energy. And then I play it back, and it's just like, oh my God, did you need a coffee before you started? I don't know why it looks like you're about to fall asleep on your own podcast, Nick. But yeah, this one's not going to be a test one. I don't care how crappy this one comes out. This is going to be podcast number 1. It's official. I'm calling it. I'm leaving it all in. And I got to stop saying that. That's going to be a horrible catchphrase. And yeah. So that's about it. It's something to do until the world ends, basically. I mean, it looks like it's gonna happen, guys. I mean, let's just distract ourselves. Do what we can to help out the environment if you're in a position to do so. But otherwise, let's just have a good time as we watch the world burn, or as we watch Texas freeze. Shout out to Texas. They're going through a cold snap right now, rolling blackouts. It's awful. And some people are like, "Where's your global warming now?" Well, that's what global warming is. It's gonna be wildly fluctuating temperatures. We're going to have the hottest summers. We're going to have the coldest winters. That's what is going to happen. It isn't just going to be that we all just see progressively warmer temperatures. At least that's what I think. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but that's what I hear. God, the day after tomorrow. Horrible science, but kind of the same idea. It's like, half of the world might freeze, the other. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, yeah. Let's just have fun with it. This is going to be a fun one, I think. I think that I'm going to be able to learn a lot about how this side of things goes. I've been consuming. All right, that's what it is. I want to create. I want to produce. I want to put something out into the world to justify my existence, I guess. I mean, I have eaten so much food, drank so much water, put such a carbon footprint on the world, and I want to be able to look back at all of that and be like, well, could we just not done with them and all been better off for it? I mean, like I said, I've fostered a few animals, so I mean, I'm sure they're grateful that I was around, but and I know I have friends and family that love me. Shout out to you guys, I love you too. But like at the end of the day, if you Googled, Nick Andrews, well, all right, I guess he worked some, he played some. That's about it. Doesn't there wasn't a book written by him or about him, I guess is what I'm saying. So, yeah, this is just one of the ways I thought of that I might be able to, help make the world a slightly better, slightly more informed, maybe possibly entertained place. And I hope that's what it ends up being. I'm just going to put it out in the universe and just be optimistic about it. All right, seriously. Say hi. Say hi, Lilu. She can't leave Daddy alone, so now she's stuck here. Her mom hates this, by the way. See how she's just letting me? Okay, I guess this is my world now. Whereas with Mom, she'd be wiggling and putting her paw in the face, and she just goes, all right, I'm going to accept this. Hello. Yes, you're getting all the attention that you wanted right now while I'm talking to the people in the little black dot with a blue halo. I'm talking about the webcam. It's weird talking to just this bad Hal 9000. Oh, God. Was that even his name? Was it Hal from... Uh, 2001, Space Odyssey. Oh boy, did we get that wrong. That wasn't 2001 at all. We're in 2021 and we're still nowhere near there. I mean, who knows? I still to this day don't know what those monoliths are. Okay, I'll be honest. I don't quite understand the movie. And, it was gorgeous. And, it moves at a snail's pace, but that's just because that was so, big at the time. Okay, are you ready to go down? Maybe go get some water or something, please. Please and thank you. God, how do I get off on a 2001 tangent? Anyway, okay, yeah. So, good. Disclaimers, warnings. I am nothing if not a consumer of TV, movies, podcasts. I'm going to make a lot of references that not only are going to date me pretty severely, but they also are probably going to be completely lost on you, so I apologize in advance. I'm going to be like, oh, like that thing that time, and I'm not even going to know the name of the title. It's going to drive you batty. You're going to want to try and go research it. It's probably not even a movie that is in existence anymore. Who knows? Who knows years from now how much any of this is even going to not matter. Matter's not the word. How much of this is even going to be relevant? That's what I was looking for. So, again, yeah, I'm going to do a disclaimer probably at the beginning of every episode where this is not an expert giving advice. This is literally somebody that knows a little something about something that thinks you should know. If you're thinking about either getting a pet or wanting to know me or especially owning a dog, that's huge, guys. I mean, I obviously would never compare having a dog to having a kid, but the amount of responsibility with these guys is pretty big, and and again, I'm already just previewing you stuff that you're going to find in the other videos, but I feel that we have such a responsibility as humans to dogs, because like many of the animals that we domesticate, we completely change their whole DNA, their appearance, their ability to survive in the winter. You just saw Lilu; she's a flat coat. If all the people were gone tomorrow and she couldn't get to warmer climates in time, I mean, with that flat coat, she would freeze to death. She doesn't have a wolf's clothing, and wolf's clothing. Okay, I think I just combined wolf and sheep's clothing, and anyway, you know what I'm talking about. The fur. The fur ain't there. I have to put on a jacket for her anytime we go out in the wintertime, and it's obvious that she really needs it because she will literally help me put it on her because she realizes how much warmer it is with than without. So we made that. We made that. Somebody somewhere, a wolf and a guy, found a symbiotic relationship, and then we just ran with it, and now we have Anywhere from a Great Dane to a Chihuahua, all came from just carefully and very uncarefully breeding wolves until they're completely unrecognizable as the same species. But it's still early enough. It's weird. It's still early enough that technically a wolf could mate with a dog and get a half wolf, half dog. They're not that far away from their original ancestry just yet. But anyway, I digress. That is stuff I'm going to talk about in the dog videos because, yeah, I feel like that we do owe a lot to being responsible for them. Oh, and how frustrating must it have been for Bob Barker, by the way, to have hosted how many years did he host The Price is Right, and ending every single video with help control the pet population, have your pet spayed or neutered today, and the pet population is even more out of control than when he started making those announcements in the first place. It had to have driven him nuts. I mean, like, I know people watch the show, right? I mean, it's wildly popular. It's still going on even after he left, and the population control is still crazier than it even was. Like, that's got to be unless it would have been even worse had he not been saying that. Maybe that's how he looks at it. I bet you Bob Barker was oh jeez, that's not good. I don't even know if he's still alive or not. But if he's still with us, I love you, Bob. If you're not, then thank you so much. Um, I gotta really start to learn how to think before opening up my mouth. But that's the fun of this. That's actually gonna be half the fun, is just watching my weird brain working all over the place and not knowing where it's gonna go next, not knowing how long it's gonna be. Heck, I don't even know how long it's been. Oh, that's something else too. I don't know if there's a way to see how long my video has been going on for, but I remember that when I was doing one of these test videos, I was like, okay, geez, I think I covered literally anything I could. That's got to be good. All right, what was that, like half hour, 45 minutes? And I looked, and it literally was 10 minutes long. And I was blown away. I was like, I thought I knew how to talk. I thought I could talk your ear off. I was thinking that at least for these, hey, here's how I've been doing lately, ones, I thought that those were going to be at least an hour. Because it seems like everybody that I listen to for the podcast, they can rant and ramble for at least half an hour to an hour. Like Bill Burr's Monday morning podcast, he's literally just ranting to the microphone, and he can knock out a half hour, go a million different ways, have it be completely entertaining. I want to get there. That would be awesome. I mean, he's been doing it. He's been entertaining for years, though. So obviously, it's not going to happen with me right away. But I have so much more respect for those guys now, where even his Monday morning podcasts are typically just a half hour, and it's cute. He'll actually tack on like episode from years previous just to make it a little bit longer. And I fall for it hook, line, and sinker because I didn't hear that previous one, so I listen to the whole thing every time. But yeah, the fact that he can just easily knock out a half hour of just ranting at a microphone, and I had the hardest time doing 10 minutes, and it felt like exponentially longer. It felt like it was 10 times that. It felt like so. Yeah, newfound respect for these people where Rogan being able to just talk for 3 hours multiple times a week. And I originally was like, come on, you other podcasters, step up your game. I'm only getting an hour, maybe an hour and a half out of you once a week. Like, how tough is that? And now I realize it's tough. It is tough. Even with a guest, it's got to be tough. Like, I can see, the conversation with a guest, starting to peter out at about the 20-minute mark just because we're like, what else? What else? That's something I'm going to try hard not to do on this, is do a what else or ums. I'm going to try and cut those out as much as possible because I know it just gets annoying. And it doesn't help. It doesn't help my brain. It doesn't help the listener. God, how many of you are even still here at this point? I had to have lost at least half of you that clicked on this either accidentally out of morbid curiosity or just as solidarity to be like, hey man, I'm glad that you're finally doing it. There can't be many of you still tuned in anymore. I hope that you at least stayed long enough for the ad read. Maybe I will open with the ad read, get that out of the way, so that if you're just like, okay, well, F this episode in the A, that you're going to be like, well, at least I got the ad read out ahead of time, and you were able to hear about, in this case, it was Cape Cord. Shout out Josh. Yeah. And I'm excited about that one. The reading the ads. This episode is not brought to you by Cape Cord. So Go in, select an item that you want, and when you get to the promo code, type in Nick, that's Nick, and you will get $0 off. Because again, they are not sponsoring this episode. I feel like that's going to be a fun one that I might not ever stop, even if I am starting to get, ad reads and, Patreon and stuff. Because again, it's just, it's something nice to do for your buddy, you know? Heck, I might even do it for. I am asking ahead of time for these. It's just like, hey, do you mind if I, since I'm planning on starting a podcast, do you mind if I pimp out, your business or your whatever? And of course, everybody's been, sure. But I'm going to try and make sure not to. Thank you. Thank you for playing noisily and distracting Daddy. I want to make sure that I do have permission from whoever I do end up doing. So if you're watching this and you know me and you're like, hey, dude, I have a side hustle, like, go ahead and, make sure to mention my name too. I'll be more than happy to. And if I run out, I'll just keep repeating the same ones over and over again. But, I was even briefly considering, like, some local businesses I know, like nhcoffee.com. Shouldn't have said that out loud because, again, I'm not editing it. And I didn't get the permission yet to be shouting them out. And if this podcast ends up going a little off the rails and it ends up being a little more adult than I originally intended, some people might not want to be associated with that. They might be like, wait, that stumbly guy that cusses all the time and, got weirdly political in the first part of his podcast for some stupid reason. No, I don't want to be associated with them. So, yeah, that's not technically the name of their company, but if you go to that website I just mentioned by accident, dude, it's great coffee. All right, screw it. I'm gonna say it anyway. It's great coffee. Even if that was an accident, I'm still glad that hopefully they don't get angry at me. But yeah, I went and I had an awesome time talking with them. I went to their actual factory and they got a passion for coffee, and it shows both with their energy and with the flavor of the bean. But I gonna try and think of other stuff that I can add to this. Once I start putting out a couple videos and comments roll in, I might read those as a way to have kind of a back and forth conversation with you guys before I start taking on guests. But again, I just really need to get comfortable with being able to just rant at you and be fine in my own skin and not really care if oh geez, that was dumb. That it'll be fine. It's just the only way to grow, and only way to learn and the only way to grow. So, baby steps, and those first steps are always going to be awkward stumbles. You gotta walk before you can crawl, as they say wrongly, because I know it's the other way around. And I guess if you want to, if you think it'll help, do the subscribe, do the like thing. If I start a Patreon, kick me a couple bucks and I'll figure out a fun way to have you get exclusive content. I guess that's how it's working at this moment. I don't know. I hope it gets there, but it does feel like I'm kind of jumping on that bandwagon a little bit late. By the time this thing gets any kind of momentum, if it does, we're probably going to be all doing OnlyFans instead. I don't know. I honestly don't know what the future holds. So this is going to be more for me, my mental sanity, and again, that one weird random person that just happened to accidentally click on it because the algorithm, for whatever reason, put my stupid mug on one of their searches for if they were looking to get a dog or a hamster or something. That tail. All right, I don't know if you heard that, but that tail is like a homing beacon for anything that's on a table. I swear to God, the thing, if she gets really excited, you could use it to, whip a criminal. I'm telling you. She's built like a brick house. It's insane, and half of that muscle's in the tail. It's ridiculous. So, the reason why I'm saying that is she just knocked over yet another thing on a table. We don't have hardly anything breakable on tables anymore. I think we literally have 2 glass shot glasses, and that is about the only thing that we ever have on the table. And we usually put those towards the center of the table just because of that silly tail of hers. I have wine glasses that are 100% plastic. Half of that's for her butt, half of that's for me, just also being a klutz. But I'm telling you, I should put a feather duster on it and let you just clean up the whole house with that tail going a mile a minute, huh? Of course, then she'd find out a way to just, knock everything over with a feather duster. She'd be like, "Ooh, more room! Awesome, thanks, Daddy. Now I can knock stuff over that's in the center of the table." But yeah, you know those TV tray, the TV dinner trays they call them. I mean, we use them for stuff other than that, but you know, putting anything on there that is not like, say, a flat piece of paper is a gamble, because she'll be chasing after a toy and she just does not have any sense of where her lead butt is going to be next. So even if the butt doesn't hit it, the tail's going to get it on the way by anyway. So you got to be real careful with that kind of stuff. I wonder if that would be a good episode, is how to dog-proof the house for a puppy, because you if you're having a puppy and it's for the very first time, even if you've had an adult dog before. And again, I'm gonna get on all of this with the dog episode, but just while I'm thinking out loud here, I'm giving myself ideas as I talk to you and just rant and ramble. Yeah, puppy proofing a house is not the easiest thing in the world. They're teething, so they need to bite on everything. Um, when they pee, it's gonna be on the carpet. It's not gonna be on the hardwood floor. And there's actually a reason for that. Again, I'll get into all that stuff, but yeah, maybe that'll be a one. So you're getting a puppy? Well, good luck. I'm a dog trainer, and I think I'm only ever gonna adopt adult dogs for the rest of my life, so I can just avoid that part entirely. Um, but yeah, it is a shame. How many animals end up in shelters? How many animals that we sell that either get returned or relinquished, or unfortunately brought back dead, and it almost always could have been avoided. Almost always, just with a little bit of knowledge. I feel like I'm touching my face a lot, and it's something that I never was self-conscious about. But now, careful of the cord if you're gonna go away. No, you just want to wrap your head around the cord. Okay. All right. Yeah. How are dogs both the smartest and dumbest things that you'll ever meet in your life? Might as well. I mean, I know I'm going to get into the dog one in a bit, but even if it's not the dog episode, you're still probably going to hear me mention a dog briefly or two, especially if she's going to be a little attention getter. I almost said another phrase, but I'm working on it. See, this is my first time that I caught myself with some language. This is awesome. All right, I'm already getting better at this. See, go me, go us. Go us, go you. Whatever you're doing in your life right now, go you. And thank you for sticking around for whatever reason. I don't know why you would at this point, because at this point it's obvious that I got nothing else for now. I'm literally just getting more used to talking to the camera, and I'm distracting myself with my mutt. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so dogs. They're the smartest and the dumbest animal that you'll ever meet in your life. I don't get how the skunk thing. Skunk thing it blows my mind. All right. You got sprayed this time, you got sprayed last time, and you're going to get sprayed next time. So what do? You go after the skunk again. I think they do the same thing with porcupines. It doesn't matter how many quills they get in their dome, they still go after the thing. Oh my God. So I had a dog way back in the day. She was an escape artist, right? So a little backstory. So this is a dog that when she's on the leash, she's just choking herself pulling at all times, and will walk straight into traffic, not even worrying it. When there's somebody on the other end of the leash, it's like she turns her brain off and her nose on and just pull, regardless of the surroundings. And so she got loose one time. I'm chasing her down, through people's backyards, trying to yell at her to come back, and then she comes up to a road, and she stops, and then I stop. I'm like, oh my God, well, I don't want to keep chasing her, because if I do chase her, I'm going to chase her into traffic. But if I stop chasing her, then I'm not going to be able to catch her. So what do? And while I'm trying to debate on what I'm going to do, I swear, hand to God, she looks left, right, left again, and then crosses the road like they teach you in elementary school. And I was like, you B word, you are smart. You knew this whole time. It's just whenever I'm walking you just let yourself be the nose of the operation, and me be the brains. So, but you've been that smart this whole time. So I swear to God, I know so much about dogs, and I still know so little. Like I understand quite a bit about how come they work the way that they work, and I'm really excited about that part. I'm really excited to tell you guys some of the stuff I know, because I find it fascinating in a lot of ways. But and some of the stuff I might have to skip comes to training. I might have to skip until I'm no longer working for a pet store so that I'm not the competition. But that is one thing that I do plan on doing because I feel like it could save a lot of uh, dog pet parent relationships. For instance, the dog I was just talking about. Oh my God. When I was growing up, I mean, her and my dad would just butt heads all day long. She'd do something, he'd react to it, she'd react to him. It was a whole thing. And if I could go back now and be able to impart the knowledge that I found out later on, like it makes so much sense to me now why she was the way that she was in response to whatever he did to try and mitigate the circumstances. Looking at it from a dog's point of view now, I'm like, of course she was trying to escape out the door. Of course, she ran upstairs and then left a trail of poo. It was obvious that you know how dogs normally just do that hunched over thing and then they just poo in one spot. She had run upstairs and she had left a plop, a plop, a plop. She had clearly intentionally walked while pooing. Just like what a dick move that is, right? Well, now I totally get it. I totally get it, and I almost kind of applaud her because I can understand where she was coming from in that situation. But oh my goodness, yeah, as funny as cats are funny but not comedic. Dogs get some comedy to them. So I don't know why I just said that about cats. I like cats too, but definitely more of a dog person. I love Ricky Gervais's joke about he's not a big fan of humanity. He thinks dogs are better people than people. In a lot of ways that's true. Look, this is coming from a guy. I'm getting way too much into dog stuff. I should be saving this for the other. Like I'm gonna run out of stuff to talk about. This is coming from a guy that got bit in the face by a dog when he was young. Got right there. It almost got my eye if I hadn't done a knee-jerk reaction to it. And what's interesting is that I found a lot of people that, at least that I've talked to, I don't know, this can't be a universal across the board, but a lot of people that I've talked to that have become dog trainers have also had a negative experience in their life. Most often it's a dog bite. But it's interesting that if you have an incident like that, it can shape you, either positive or negative. So I imagine if I had been even just the littlest bit younger, that I would have been afraid of dogs my whole life. It would have been young enough and left enough of an imprint where I didn't understand the way the world works that I might have been afraid of dogs my whole life. And this was never a conscious decision. I kind of fell into the dog training game just through pure coincidence, happenstance. It just seemed like something that would be interesting to do and learn. So I never used that dog bite as like okay, so now should I be afraid of dogs my whole life, or should I learn about dogs and find out why that happened, and through knowledge I won't be as afraid. It was never a conscious decision, but I'm glad that I happened to go that route because now dogs are one of my favorite types of animals in the entire world. And that could have gone a completely different way. I could have crossed the street when somebody was walking a chihuahua down the road if I got traumatized enough, and thankfully that's not how it went down. But I'm glad that that's how it worked out. I think my brain actually is wired that way a little bit. One example is tarantulas. I'm just talking about them. Don't turn off the channel. They're not one that's just going to pop up on the screen. Some of those. Have you ever been by one of those scare videos where it's building up tension and then it CGs the spider onto the screen? For some reason, those make me jump every time, even though I know it's a video. Anyway, makes me feel dumb. Thanks, guys, for making me feel dumb and scared. Whoever makes those videos. All right, but tarantulas. So I'm sure you're not a spider person. I surely wasn't early on, and I don't know if this will help you, but and I'll probably repeat it again I'll probably do a spider one, spider episode. But tarantulas are one of the most recognizable species on the planet. It's a pretty distinctive look. So they don't really look anything like any of the other ones. They're usually big. They're usually furry. They're usually pretty easy to spot. If you ever encounter one in the wild or in, domestically. So there's 800 different species. All look pretty similar. I think the scariest one is the Goliath bird-eating tarantula, and that's really all you need to know is it's big enough to eat birds. So, um, but from that one to even the smallest one, none of them are so venomous that it'll kill you if you get bit. Granted, you might have an allergy. That's such a rare thing that, you might as well be getting scared of, having a. Actually, all right. I'm gonna take that back. I don't know how rare it is to have a tarantula allergy versus, say, a peanut allergy or any of those things. So all I know is that to an average person, if you get bit by a tarantula, you are not going to die. You're not going to have your skin decay like some of the scary bites from other venomous creatures. Um, in fact, what's weird is that it actually hurts a little bit more than the bite. Is a lot of them have little butt hairs that they can flick at you, and this is going to be an obscure reference. Most people probably haven't touched a prickly pear cactus fruit um, um, thorn, but they're super super fine. They you can barely see them even with a magnifying glass. They usually break off so that you can't pull them out, and it's just a irritating, painful little thing that it feels like a splinter. Every time that you reach into your pocket to get something, it rubs it a little bit, and it hurts. It's annoying. Apparently, I've heard from people that have gotten bit and also had the butt hair flicked at them. They actually would prefer the bite over the butt hair. That's how annoying it is. So my point is that if I ever encountered one, I was armed with that knowledge that okay, well, even if I don't like you, I know that you can't kill me, so that takes some of the fear away. Um, that most of them actually are pretty friendly to be handled. They usually are pretty obvious with their body language if they're not feeling it that day. I think all except for the bird eating. I might go against my original thought and actually Google a little bit if I plan to do spiders because I'm pretty sure that the bird eating tarantula is always going to be a little feisty and probably not the best to handle. But I might be telling tales out of school, so I'm gonna have to look that up for you guys. Other than that, though, I'm really this is I'm gonna say it with the intro to pets, but this is just a couple of things that I've picked up, but nothing is better than Googling it yourself. And not just Google, because a lot of times it'll say some stuff on some websites, and then you go to another website and it completely contradicts itself. But forums are, forum chats are probably one of the best. People with actual hands-on experience. Um, but yeah, that's something where I'm gonna definitely do a disclaimer where this is not a ask Dr. Nick kind of thing. I mean, come on, even Dr. Drew, who has a podcast, he says, even though I'm a licensed physician, I think he's a licensed physician. Even though he actually has a doctorate, he has that podcast solely for entertainment purposes. He gives advice, but he wants to make sure. And this is a guy that actually has his degree. He, still has his disclaimer in the beginning because it's like, well, don't listen to my podcast, do what I said, have a bad thing happen, and then now you can sue me because you thought this was a replacement for going to the doctor. My podcast is not going to be a replacement for doing your own research, doing your own homework, and making sure you're covering all the bases before you introduce another life into the house. But yeah, I think that should be about it for now. I'm super nervous that I've been talking to you this entire time, and then I'm going to play it back, and it's going to be completely unusable because, God, that would suck. And it has happened a couple of times already. Some of the test videos I've gone back and watched, and my audio is all. Yeah, and sometimes the video is like all digital if I just go to the side for even a second. So, like I said, this is all just. I'm doing it with the equipment that I got, and if it's something that I love and it's something that I can afford to do, I can, start upgrading it and making this just a little bit more watchable for you guys. So, I'm really gonna appreciate whoever happens to stick with me during these times, because I understand that it's probably not going to be the easiest thing to sit through. Bless you for doing it if you did. Um, oh yeah, and so like I, I I don't know if eventually I'm going to start having graphics and stuff on the screen, but even if and when I do find out how to do that kind of thing, I might not, because I know that there's a lot of people that just listen to podcasts instead of watching them. For instance, if they're going on a jog or driving, they don't need something that's super visual where I'm like, well, look at this list, or, as referenced in this picture. I'm going to try to avoid that as much as possible, but I also know how boring it's going to be day in and day out if you follow me on a regular basis, seeing the same me with the same kind of boring background. This was just the least cluttery, clunky background spot I could find. I just threw this laptop up on the kitchen table, and that's why it is the way it is. Um, so yeah, I might do that stuff later on, especially because I guess the types of videos I'm planning on doing with the animals and stuff, it is going to help having some visuals, especially if I get into any of the dog training. We're going to need to have a wider shot and you know have you be able to physically see what I'm talking about. I mean, I remember when I was doing dog training classes, and I would oftentimes, because if the dog wasn't doing it, I still had to show them what I was looking for, so that when they got home and practiced and eventually got it right, they knew what to look for. So I had a stuffed dog that I would often grab and, have it do sits and play bows and stuff, just so they can kind of get a rough idea. Heck, sometimes I get on the floor and I would be the dog, because I had no shame. It was oftentimes funny, informative, and entertaining. Which I hope this is going to be. So I hope a little bit of the dog trainer in me bleeds out in the podcast, because I was the trainer that was willing to get on the floor in a play bow, just to show the pet parent what the heck I was talking about. So, anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna try and yeah, like I said, I'm gonna try and read comments and any suggestions of like a good you know thing to call it, or good signing off. I don't want to steal Bob's of help control the pet population. Have your pet spay or neutered today. Um, I don't know. I might do something along the lines of, because I'm gonna cover it in the animal one, but maybe something along the lines of, hey, if you found it in the wild, leave it in the wild. If you found it in the store, here's what you should. Yeah, listen to me before you go into the store. I don't know. Yeah, it needs work clearly, but I'm pretty excited actually, and I'm not trying to stall for time, but I am interested to see how long I can make a video go before I'm just like, okay, I clearly have nothing left in the tank. I am clearly have nothing. I'm just doing ums and ahs and thinking of movie references. So I'll be very interested once I pause this to review it, how long it did end up being. Um, and yeah, again, kudos to you. Like, you guys should have a prize, like at the end, like where there's like some, secret code at the end. Oh, then people might just skip to the end once they start to catch wise. Or I've heard somebody did something one time where they it was either for test or reading material, or something, where they had a word that had absolutely nothing to do with the rest of it, and you needed to be able to find that word um, before you could move on to the next thing. I think that was an actual thing. Like, so it was for an online class maybe. So what they had was say it's like all about ancient Vikings, and then for whatever reason, in the middle of the sentence, the word rutabaga would show up, and so you'd have to be able to know that that was the word that was out of place. By the time you get to the end, you have to say that it was rutabaga, and that way they knew that you read the entire thing. But I think it was flawed, because then people would just read up until they saw the weird word, so then they started putting it only at the end, and then so pretty soon people would start from the back and go to the front, and often find it faster that way. So they weren't really learning anything except for how to cheat the system. So I don't know that I can give you guys a prize for if you stick with me till the very end. Um, I don't even know if it matters. I don't know how YouTube works. I'm gonna have to look all of this stuff up if I keep doing this, because um, I don't know if it's just the amount of views. If you just click on it, say, there you go, Nick, I gave you a view, and then you just F off to the rest of your life. Or if you stick with it all the way through to the end, if they pay attention to that kind of thing, and then that's how you can get, ad reads or whatever. So, yeah, we'll see. This will be fun. I'm basically starting from the very bottom, which is awesome because now you'll be able to see nothing but just me improving myself and this whole monster that I've created. What have I done? Feel like Frankenstein. Uh, yeah, because Frankenstein's the doctor, not the monster. Doesn't everybody know that bit of trivia by this point? I feel like I've heard it said so many times. Frankenstein was the doctor, not the monster. That at this point, if you don't know, then you clearly cared enough to completely ignore any previous person or media source saying that. So, and yet here I am spitting it back out in your faces. So yeah, we all know it was Dr. Frankenstein or Frankenstein if you like Young Frankenstein. Is that right? The name of the movie is Young Frankenstein, and yet he's always going Frankenstein. But I still think the title of the movie is pronounced Young Frankenstein. That doesn't make any sense. Maybe it's actually pronounced Young Frankenstein, and because that was the running gag of the whole movie is that it's pronounced this way. Um, Good movie. If you never had a chance to check it out, Mel Brooks, always brilliant, especially if he teams up with Gene Wilder. Some of those team ups were awesome, like in The Producers. As of me telling you this now, I mean, there's already two separate movies of The Producers, both with different actors. Both worth it. Both are worth a look. The older one has Gene Wilder. The newest one has Matthew Broderick. But it's still it's still crazy that it got made. If you don't know why I'm giggling, and it's because you haven't seen it yet. It's probably the wildest subject matter out of any movie or play, and I love that he was able to get away with it. um, yeah, who knows? Maybe if I run out of animal stuff to talk about, nah. There's enough movie critics. There's enough movie reviewers out there. What would I be able to bring to the table besides just being yet another guy that geeks out on it though? Um, Although me and my buddy Craig did briefly try and start a podcast of movie reviews. I should hit him up and yeah, maybe not necessarily that subject because again, God, I feel like there's so many out there that you're scrolling and you see a little guy in the corner doing or and then a clip of a movie that I've already seen a dozen times and half of them I don't get. It's like why would I find this fascinating that you are slack jawed or to this scene? I mean, if I've seen the scene before, then what's the point of me rewatching the scene? If I haven't seen the scene before, then isn't that just spoilers or is it? I don't know. Sorry, I apologize for all the people that have those types of videos out. Um, and you're getting a million views. It doesn't matter what a guy like me is saying about your channel. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. Don't take offense. Um, keep doing you. That's awesome. If you're not for me, well, hey, guess what? I'm probably not for you either. So I'm not gonna be offended if you don't watch me. You don't get offended if I don't watch you. Um, oh yeah. So for the comments, I would obviously prefer, um, you know, positive stuff. Um, constructive criticism. Um, but if you're gonna bust my balls, just make it be funny. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. There's enough hate on the internet. If you call me a name and it's funny, you know what? I'll still appreciate it. I got pretty thick skin, but if you're gonna be mean for the sake of being mean, oh God, I would want to say that it's you're killing yourself here. Like if you live in that much hate, I mean, it's got to only just poison you. But then again, it seems like some of the nicest, sweetest, most awesome people that I've ever met are the ones that die young, and the a-holes seem to live forever. It's almost like hate is a fuel source. Um, Although somebody had a theory where it's like, well, no, because nice people have that meanness in them too. They just hold it in out of politeness and because they're not a dick. And the people that don't and they just spew it out, well, now they're not holding that in themselves. But no, that can't be the case because honestly, like if you live a negative life, you're always surrounded by it. There's not any reprieve. So yeah, if you're gonna be a hater, just be a funny hater. If I see you know a roast that's good enough, I mean I might even give it a shout out on the podcast. That'd be kind of fun. Um, yeah. All right, that's it for now. Thank you guys, and hopefully you'll see me soon. And now awkwardness as I try and get the cursor over. I'm leaving it in.